After releasing my last video about feminism, I was banned in many groups on Facebook, Reddit, received so many hateful messages. So seeing how much emotions this topic generates, I thought it would be interesting to keep going and talk a little bit more about this. Of course, there is no problem with the basic ideas of feminism. Nobody is against equal rights and equal opportunities for everyone. The problem is with the mainstream feminists that are extremely loud and noisy and act like little children, because if they want something and they don't get it, they immediately start blaming white patriarchy, because that's the easiest way to blame somebody else. That unfortunately leads to so much hypocrisy and ridiculous demands. In this episode of Discussionizer, I'm going to walk you through some ridiculous feminist demands one by one by showing some videos and then later on discussing them. The first is menstruational leave.
Special days off just for women.
It may seem like a controversial idea, but is an already existing law in Indonesia, Korea and Japan.
You know, debates are raging around the world about whether women should be given menstrual leave, different than sick days.
Now, of course, if you have lots of pain and you are in extreme agony, then I understand that you have to take a day off or so, but making a natural thing a medical condition is bullshit, and I don't think that would empower women at all. Now, what it creates is to have an excuse not to go to work, and 1 or 2 days per month. It's just ridiculous. That's a huge advantage over men, and I don't think it would help society at all. Sweden plans to force men to urinate seated.
In the gender equality stakes, Sweden is rated highly, but some Swedes feel it's being taken to extremes. There's a politician who proposed that men should be required by law to urinate in a sitting position.
To be honest, I'm getting a little bit confused about this, because recently I come across with articles that actually promotes women to piss standing in festivals and parties. So in other places now they try to ban guys to piss standing. I don't really understand it anymore. I also seen some signs in toilets saying that don't be an animal, just sit down. Now, I don't know that many animals, but I believe that they don't really do it on 2 legs. Grid girls and box ring girls are banned.
You are a boxing ring girl,
yes.
Right? You've heard what Frank had to say. How do you feel? You know, people say you're being objectified, it's demeaning.
I have never felt that in the 5 years that I've worked in this industry. If I'm honest, in the past week, I've probably received some of the worst comments from women applauding this ban than I have ever received in that industry.
What sort of comments?
So from feminists?
From women calling themselves feminists, they're not empowering us or supporting us, but they have come out with some derogatory comments. They're insulting our intelligence based on our occupation. They're calling us prostitutes online, which is, you know, it's very upsetting and insulting.
I don't think that grid girls are more objectified than half-naked guys on the catwalk, movies, or in the front page of a magazine. It is only not fine when a woman does it because it offends other women, and apparently taking away their free choice is the way they actually empower women. Nice. Double standards. Apparently in Australia, a clothes brand removed their pullovers from the stores because it has a title, Boys Will Be Boys. Like, I don't understand what's offensive about that, but okay, they removed that because somebody filed a complaint. Now another brand in Australia released their new t-shirts for girls saying girls are smarter. Now, of course, somebody after this release complained as well, and guess what? They immediately removed also from stores. No, actually they didn't. So let me see what they said. Hi Jacob, thanks for your comment. Our Lily Loves t-shirts is a part of our women's use range and was designed as a positive message to young women with no intention to cause offense to anyone. We appreciate you taking the time to raise your concerns. Now that's double standard. The next one is my personal favorite. See a video from Senator Sarah Hanson-Young from Australia.
Men cannot control themselves and deal with their own issues. It is not women's fault that men behave like morons and like pigs.
As you can see, it's disgustingly generalizing, and it assumes that all men are pig and bad, and if you just switch the genders, it would be completely offensive. This senator can actually say it publicly in national television in mainstream time. If you are in doubt whether feminist quotes or big proclamations like that are sexist or not. Just switch the gender and you will see it very quickly, very early, that most of those quotes or anything you can find on the internet are massively offensive and generalizing for men. The next is mansplaining. Apparently it's a thing when a man explains something to a woman in a condescending and patronizing way. I don't understand why you need to create a word for that. If somebody's an idiot, it's an idiot. You can call it in many different ways, but it doesn't have to have a word man in it, because not all men does it, and I don't think it's actually fair to call something like that. The correct reaction for mansplaining, or if somebody interrupts, or if somebody patronizing or condescending, is that, excuse me, and then you say something nice, or you just say, shut the fuck up, and then you try to take over the conversation. Manspreading. It is typically when a man sits with their leg wide open in public transport or any other places. Now, I think it's also just as trivial as the previous one. There is nothing to see here. If the bus is empty, then why do you care if somebody is sitting like that? If it's not empty and that's the only seat remaining, then tell him to sit normally. Reverse consent law. Now, I'm not sure if you are aware of this situation, but effectively what it says is that if you are accused of rape, then you have to prove your innocence instead of the other way around. It goes sometimes as far as that people invented apps that people can give consent when they actually have an intercourse. I find it completely ridiculous, but looking beyond that app, the problem is that you are going against hundreds of years of democratically developed legal system, which results in the presumption of innocence. Now, if you throw this out, then the whole system is not worth anything anymore. Change Father's Day to Special Persons Day.
Dr. Red Ruby Scarlett, a university academic and convener of the Social Justice in Early Childhood activist group. Well, Red, firstly, thank you very much for your time. Look, what is the argument for having Special Persons Day rather than Father's Day?
Thank you for having me as well. If we think about children's rights and how they get to participate in a community and feel a sense of belonging, sometimes shifting the language around those emotive and important days can be significant and more inclusive than the current way that we describe them.
Sure, good idea. Let's change Mother's Day as well to Special Persons Day. Why not? Office air conditioning is sexist.
Is there such a thing as a sexist thermostat?
I think it's just the same as manspreading and mansplaining. It's trivial. If it's too cold, just turn it up. If it's too warm, turn it down. Now, I understand that there are biological differences between men and women. Then get some middle ground here, but that's stupid discussion. Painting the boys' nails in Iceland.
Now, apparently the boys have had their nails done last week, so they just need a touch-up this week. This little boy has requested something, a rainbow, so we'll use a few different colours. Okay, good choice. Beautiful.
Why? Why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense. If I was a father, I wouldn't allow the teacher to do that to my kid. Of course, if your kid wants it, that's fine, but doing their nails in the classroom for everybody, and that's conditioning them to do something that they probably wouldn't do on their own. That's stupid. Aggressive feminists.
Fuck the patriarchy. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Mike Pence. Fuck white supremacy. Fuck racism. Fuck misogyny. Fuck
is part of patriarchy. The idea that women are too weak to fight or too delicate to function in a military setting is part of patriarchy. It's part of patriarchy. Part of patriarchy. I don't know if you're noticing a theme. Patriarchy. Anyways, I'm not done. Not done. Shut the fuck up. Feminists do not want you. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish my list. Patriarchy. 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 Feminists hate patriarchy. We do not hate you, fuckface.
Well, that's totally crazy. I don't know if you actually notice a pattern, but it seems that the crazier they are, the more red their hair is. it has to do something with their coloring agent. It seems to kind of penetrate in their brain and do some permanent damage. Putting those jokes aside, you can find many feminists on the internet or on the streets actually reacting extremely aggressively just because people don't agree with them. Now, I am totally against any kind of violence or aggressive behavior, so I just have no idea why these people feel justified to do that. And they will do more harm than good for women as well, because nobody will listen to them. The Pope protects himself, and all of a sudden he becomes anti-woman. Well, I think it doesn't need further explanation. Just imagine yourself in his situation, or anybody's situation who has this. If somebody pulls your hand like that, that's a totally normal reaction, that you just try to get yourself free. And then accusing him that he hates women and this is how the new year starts, that's also total bullshit. So this was a short summary that I find ridiculous about these modern feminist requests or demands. Now, if you have any other interesting or ridiculous feminist requests, just put it in the comment section, please. I'm really curious about it. I hope you liked it. And it's also okay if you didn't and have a different opinion. I would like to invite anybody for an open debate if you are ready for it. Now, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell.